Hi students, in this class we see important aspects of Coulomb's law. So we know that F is equal to K into Q1 Q2 by R squared. This scalar form of Coulomb's law. F is equal to K into Q1 Q2 by R squared into R cap. This is vector form of Coulomb's law. So from this statement, what are the things we are getting? That's only we are going to learn in this class. The first thing is we know that F is nothing but electrostatic force. So Fe is directly proportional to Q1, Q2. That's what we know. And Fe is inversely proportional to 1 by R square. Right? That is R is nothing but a distance between the two charges Q1 and Q2. This is the first thing we learn from Coulomb's law. Second one, what is the second thing is, right? So how much of force, in which direction the force, this is talking about magnitude, in which direction the force will be, this is very important. Let us assume Q1 is here and Q2 is here, right? The direction will be obtained by drawing a line connecting the center of the two charges. That's we know. So we have to draw a line connecting the center of the two charges. The force is exerted along the line connecting the two charges. That is very important, right? So let us assume that charge 1 exerts force on charge 2. That means charge 1 applies force on charge 2. You have to write this symbol for that. 1 is applying force on 2, right? So this is charge 1 applying force on 2. That is given by same only K into Q1 Q2 by R squared. But 1 is applying force on 2. So the distance between 1 and 2. So R12 square. Unit vector is R12 cap. Suppose if charge 2 applies force on charge 1, I have to write like this. 2 applies force on 1. So that is given by F12, that is equal to again K, Q1, Q2, distance between charge 2 and 1. So R21 square, and the force along the direction from 2 to 1. So R21 cap. Okay. So you see one important point. What is this? Is R12 will be going, R12 cap will be in this direction. Yes or no? Yes. Similarly, R21 will be in this direction. That means what? R12 cap is opposite to the R21 cap, right? So instead of R21, I can substitute K Q1 Q2 divided by R21 square. Instead of R21, I can substitute R12 minus. Clear? So minus R12 cap, that is equal to what? Minus F21, because minus you take outside, K Q1 Q2, R21 or R12 both are same, distance is same, right? R12 is the distance from 1 to 2, R21 is the distance from 2 to 1, both are same. So instead of R21 squared, I can write R12. So KQ1 divided by R12 squared into R12 cap is F21. So this is F12. That means what? Force from 2 to 1 is exactly opposite to force from 1 to 2. Right? We know that this is what Newton's third law. For every action there is equal and opposite reaction. If force charge 1 applies to the force on charge 2 in this direction, surely charge 2 should apply force in the opposite direction. Right? That's what F12 is equal to minus F21. Okay, this is the second important point. Right? Then third point is, right? Suppose let us assume that Q1 is equal to 1 coulomb. Q2 is equal to 2, again it is 1 coulomb. Why I am taking 1 coulomb? For small values. We know smallest value is 1 coulomb. And distance between the two charges is, let us assume, 1 meter. Now, what is Coulomb's force? K value is 9 into 10 power 9. C, Q1 is 1, Q2 is 1, divided by R squared is also 1 square. That gives 9 into 10 power 9. You see, the force between the two charges of value 1 coulomb separated by 1 meter is 9 into 10 power 9 Newton. Right? 9 into 10 power 9 is nothing but 9306090. Right? This is so big value. It is equivalent to 1 ton, approximately 1 ton of force or weight. So this much force we never feel in our life. You see, for even a smallest amount, that is 1 coulomb of charge, the force between the two charges is 1 ton approximately. This is too big unit. So that's why we never use 1 coulomb of charge in the problems or real time. Right? Always in your problems you can see force is given in the unit of microcoulomb, nanocoulomb or picocoulomb only. They never give coulomb because we never feel coulombs for 1 coulomb of charge in the real time. Micro we know it is 10 power minus 6, nano 10 power minus 9, pico 10 power minus 12. Right? So this is very important aspect of Coulomb's law. And fourth aspect is another one. So we used Coulomb's law. F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon. Instead of K, I substitute 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. What is epsilon naught? I told in Coulomb's law. Epsilon naught is permittivity in free space. Permittivity in free space. This law, that's why we are using epsilon naught. But suppose if they ask to find the force between the two charges in water or copper or any other medium other than epsilon other than free space, we have to use F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught epsilon r Q1 Q2 by R square. Why? Epsilon is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r. We will see what is these factors and all in later chapters. Epsilon is nothing but permittivity of medium, whatever the medium they give. Right? Epsilon naught permittivity of free space. Epsilon r relative permittivity. Okay. So we must remember that epsilon is always greater than 1. Okay, because you see epsilon r is equal to epsilon by epsilon naught. Epsilon naught is 8.854 into 10 power minus 12. So it is denominator 10 power 12, that will come to the numerator as 10 power 12. So it is always greater than 1. Epsilon r is greater than 1. For free space, epsilon r is equal to 1. So epsilon r is equal to 1 for free space. Please remember, for other medium, epsilon r is greater than 1. Okay, so you see 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R squared is equal to force in the free space. So let us assume force in the free space. What is the only parameter remains? 1 by epsilon naught. Because other factors are, 1 by epsilon r. Right? Because Q1 Q2 by R squared 1 by 4 by epsilon naught is force in the free space. Right? But let us assume it is Fs. Epsilon r is the only factor remain. So force in any medium is equal to force in free space divided by epsilon r. Right? So very important point. So force in any medium can be written as force in free space by epsilon r. I told epsilon r is always greater than 1. So denominator is greater than 1 means surely the value will be less than that. Less than fs, right? Yes or no? For example, fs denominator is greater than 2, let us mean what is that? 0.5 fs. It is less than half of the fs. Suppose fs epsilon r is 3 means it is 0.33 fs. Right? It is 1/3 of fs. 1/4, 1/5 like that it will go. So always Fm is less than Fs, that is force between two charges static in other medium is less than force between two charges in free space. This is very important conclusion, right? So don't forget this. This is very so suppose if you want to find force between two charges in vacuum, that is always greater than force between the same amount of charges in the water, right? So that is the conclusion we are getting from this. Okay. So next one important is Coulomb's law is equivalent version of Newton's law. We know Coulomb's law is given by K into Q1 Q2 by R square. Newton's law gravitational force. Newton's law of gravitational force. This is electrostatic force. Fg we know G into m1 m2 divided by R square. See, both are equivalent. But we know K is equal to 9 into 10 power 9. Whereas gravitational constant G is equal to 6.626 into 10 power minus 11. You see, it is positive 10 power 9. This is negative 10 power minus 11. So this is too big unit. This is too small unit. So electrostatic force is far greater than gravitational force. That is very important. Right? So this is a very important aspect of Coulomb's law. Right? So that's all about this session. If you are having any doubt, please ask me in comment section. I will clarify all your doubts. Thank you.